Do we want to talk quickly about the Raiders game from Sunday before we jump into week 17 against the Bengals?
Uh, it
I think
wasn't
Tavo said all he needed to be said for it. It was on this top five of
Christmas.
biggest letdowns.
Christmas was Monday.
Monday, whatever.
Didn't happen on Sunday.
Doesn't matter. Forget
I
about
None
it.
also
of the
think
players wanted to be there. I
the
like you.
players
You
play like
you
that.
said through Snapchat like Chris Jones had a good start. I guess overall the defense did play pretty well, but from the get go, Chris Jones was walking back to like the line after the play with his hands on his hips. Like just overall body language from everybody told me that they did not want to be on that field right there, and that's point blank period. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a theme moving forward.
Maybe this is the players' way of striking against playing on Christmas Day.
Well, it's not going to happen next year because the NFL did confirm that no Christmas Eve or Christmas games would be happening on a Tuesday, Wednesday, which that does fall on this next year. So no Christmas or Christmas Eve games coming up in the
My wife's gonna be
2024
happy.
season. Well, talking about players who didn't want to be there this past NFL week, doesn't look like we've got a few players that actually still want to be here coming in week 17. Pacheco is still in concussion protocol. He was a non-participant Wednesday and Thursday. If he does not practice at all come tomorrow, the day that you're hearing this, he will be out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was also a non-participant on Thursday due to illness. If he doesn't practice on Friday, he will not be playing. Uh, Andy Reid and the coaching staff has been pretty consistent. We've talked about it a few times, but
Is
if you do
Deneric
not practice by Friday,
is Deneric Prince still an option? Is he still on the team somewhere?
generic Prince, yep, he is. He is a on the practice squad. I think he is allowed one more elevation before he is either required to be on the 52-man roster or cut, and has to make it through the waivers before going back on the practice squad. So he will be elevated for this week, and then we'll have to take it from there because Jerick McKinnon has already been ruled out for the game. So we're out running back number one, probably out, definitely out running back number two, probably out running back number three, and Clyde. And that will fall to LaMichael Pirine to take first team snaps. He did all day Thursday practice as well. We've also got
Darius Tony will
non-participants.
take some either shovel passes or handoff, so he's going to be like pseudo running back for us. Don't worry about that. We got the negative twos dialed up. Ready, ready to go.
Well, we do have some other non-participants on multiple days here. L'Jarius Sneed with a calf issue Wednesday and Thursday. Uh, Donovan Smith, who's been out the last few weeks, continue to expect him not to be available. Kadarius Tony again will most likely be out this week as well. And a player who was a non-participant on Wednesday but a full participant on Thursday, Galen Watson. He had an illness, but he looks to be back. Everybody else is pretty healthy. Surprisingly, McCole Hardman did open up his 21-day window. I believe it
Oh,
was last week. He was a full
unless you tell me
participant
he practiced.
Wednesday and Thursday,
Oh,
so I would expect him to probably be active come
Let's
Sunday
go,
go, Nicole.
afternoon.
Kerry.
Kerry Hardman.
Nobody's expecting the downfield pass right now. So let's get the other jet going. Streaks and posts. Come on now, let's go. He can run
Uh,
them. Do it,
yeah, he can
brother.
can't he can run them. I don't know if he can catch them. It's the problem.
If Mahomes hits him, I think I'd like McCole back there rather than MVS right now. So
Hey, if
give it a
McCole
try.
catches one,
Somebody,
if McCole
somebody.
catches one, that gives confidence to the rest of the receiver
Yes,
room.
Oh, is that
yes,
how
That
that
means
works?
that means
yes,
MVS is going to catch a deep one.
yes.
He's going to have his 100-yard game still.
We are the optimists that you want to hear from, Chiefs Kingdom. McCole Hardman, long touchdown, upcoming.
Sparks the whole entire offense.
Bomb from Mahomes.
This is the play that starts the championship DVD right here. We're calling it.
Right here, right now.
That is going to be one of the saddest DVDs for a championship that we've ever seen.
No. Biggest revenge tour in the
Yeah.
playoff. We get back at everybody.
You start off with all of the drops from game one, the, the fumbled,
Good
the
Arians
fumbled
Tony,
interceptions.
low light reel
Just
from the season.
And then we
nobody
don't drop
believed in him to be the
anything.
number one receiver, not even himself.
Not even himself. He gave it to the other team every time.
Well, the Bengals do not have injuries to report of. The one Cameron Taylor Britt, the only player who is on
I think Joe Burrow's
IR
out.
Yeah, I think he's out
I
too.
Joe Burrow's gone. I think.
system quarterback.
Yeah.
DJ
Highest
Reader is out too.
highest paid system quarterback in our
Jake Browning's doing just as well. Don't
Some
think
would argue better.
some would argue better.
91 touchdowns. He's on pace for that.
In how many games?
For his career.
A lot.
Well, optimists. Given how poorly this past week went, what are we expecting to see against the Bengals in week 17? 2 weeks remaining of the regular season.
We're gonna expect a lot of simple plays, honestly. We got too cute with a lot of the times over the past few weeks. We're gonna get back to the old nitty-gritty, the nice
Yeah,
easy stuff that they know.
what the hell is wrong with that? Or what is going on with that? Not wrong with it, because obviously we know what's wrong with it. You have the league's best quarterback and you're not playing him at quarterback. What is Matt Nagy thinking? When I look back at it, and this offense
You do that pretty often.
Look back at it.
this offense clearly isn't as good as it has been in previous years, but that also goes as far to say is the offensive play calling and coaching hasn't been as good as it has been in previous years.
And
I
you know
think,
what? You know what? We're not gonna fire him either.
I mean, this offense is so pedestrian. It looks like the Bears offense when Matt Nagy was the head coach. And it's no joke. We are that bad, if not worse. And they at least had some decent wide receivers.
I don't know.
Matt Nagy,
We can't really be worse with our record. I mean, like put it in a little bit of perspective, okay? Like
I'm not saying our record. I'm saying because that Bears defense was also horrific. And they didn't have Patrick Mahomes, they had Mitch Trubisky. But the play calling is just as bad. The accountability or lack thereof is just as bad. Matt Nagy, how did he still have a job? And the other thing is for all the shit that Chiefs Kingdom gave Eric Bieniemy over the last 4 or 5 seasons, um, does Andy really call the plays? Can we realistically say, because it doesn't look like if Andy was calling plays at any time this season, he's worse off than he's ever been. It doesn't seem like he's calling plays.
look,
He may
even
not be, but Nagy just does not have that relationship with the players like Bieniemy once did. Be able to get that fire out of the players. He just doesn't have that certain connection with anybody he coaches, really.
look, we can sit here and call for like, hey, like Andy take over, like Matt Nagy be fired or take a back seat, like whatever it is. But the scheme change or the change that I think a lot of us would hope to call for, I don't think is realistic to expect out of even Andy Reid. Um, we know the style and system that we kind of get with him, and he leaves his guys, players and coaches on some pretty long leashes. You know, he really doesn't tighten that shit up until something drastic happens. And I'm hoping the Christmas game was drastic enough, but I really am not sure. Because like just look at, I guess we can call it on paper, but like look at your starting lineups and look at where you are better than the team across from you and upcoming. And for most of the teams in the NFL, we are better than them right up front. Our guard, center guard, combo is one of the best in the league. I know we have a really, really good quarterback, but like if we just run a few dives every now and then, like, and kind of lull some teams to sleep with 3, 4, 5 yard runs, like stuff's gonna open up. And I don't know if our coaches can really like go back to that almost primitive style of offense. It's not our track record, and it's just kind of like what football traditionalists are hopeful for. Because like even with crappy receivers, if you change that style of offense, like something is eventually going to open up. You will catch some DB sleeping, and McCole Hardman carry whatever is going to end up actually in the end zone, like we predict.
Uh, Looking at the pass chart from last week, and it's pretty on par with what we've done in our play calling this season. I think it was 50% or maybe a little bit more of the actual passes attempted, whether they were completed or not, last week were at or behind the line of scrimmage. And I think that's a continuous theme for this season as a whole. It doesn't look like anybody's going downfield. It doesn't matter if it's Carey, Hardman, MVS, doesn't Rasheed, like it's not happening. The play calling is at the line of scrimmage, whether it's a run or a pass, which is why everybody's able to swamp the box on us. And then nobody can get open if we run one or two receivers down the field at past 10 yards. Nobody's still able to get open. There's got to be hopefully a drastic change. And I don't know if that's Andy Reid taking over the play calling, what have you. You said hopefully, Tybo, that this past week was the wake up call that the Chiefs needed. And I hope that's the case because when I look at it, that looks very much in our own way of what happened between the Raiders and the Chargers the week before, where the Chargers just gave up. Now, obviously, not as drastic in the points scored, but like I said, in our own way, that's exactly what that looked like. The team just gave up. Nobody wanted to be there, whether it was Christmas Day. I don't know if that really had a way to play with that. I think it's much deeper than Christmas Day.
Much deeper, just like problems we have, or
I think the problems are now leaking internally. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the locker room, whether it be with coaches, whether it be with the players. I mean, even listening to the way that Travis spoke on his podcast this week, and yeah, he's taking accountability for himself. But we've seen MVS not take accountability when he's speaking to reporters. We've seen other players not take accountability, and we've heard the same message week in and week out from those at the top, Andy and Pat and Travis. um, I think there is a locker room problem. And I think it's one thing that a lot of people are overlooking. It started prior to week one, and I think came to a head at week one and hasn't ever been fixed since, with Chris Jones sitting out.
so are you pretty much saying
It,
Chris
Chris
Jones is the
Jones and the
problem of
defense has
everything
been the
here?
problem, my guy.
The
Like
defense is I'm not disagreeing, but I think
I
that is
think I think when the defense feels like they're always out on the field and the one that has to win the game, like that the body language there is kind of like, I mean, I don't think it's truly a locker room problem. I just think like it's been a rough year. Like
I think that
it's
mentality that was instilled in week one by Chris Jones sitting out. The defense is always out there. They're always giving it their hardest. But I think something happened with that mentality that showed, hey, I don't need to be there for you, is what's leaking into the rest of it and the accountability that
I
nobody is
look
holding.
look I that's I mean that's pretty deep. I mean I feel like that's a little intricate, but I really just like it's we've been in position a lot of times to win games. Nobody's beaten us by more than a possession or one score. I've said this many times before, but to be in position to win games, to still have the record that we do, and still feel like we've lost a lot of games that we've been in position to win, it eats at you. It kind of gets tired. It's you get tired of it. Blah blah blah. Like whatever you want to say about it, it affects you. Okay, like I think that's what this is. I don't think it's as intricate as what Ty Bob is talking about. Um, is Chris Jones a little bit of a prima donna? Yeah. So is fucking Pat Mahomes. So is Travis Kelsey. Like we got a little bit of a flashy team right now, okay? But it comes with it, and I trust these guys. Honestly, I honestly do. I trust these guys and I trust this coaching staff to fix the fixable problems and start winning these one possession games, whether that happens in the playoffs or next year when we add a couple of pieces or switch up the roster a little bit, so be it. But I'm fingers crossed. I still think it can happen in the playoffs this year. Revenge Tour 2023. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs, let's go.
Well, does it? Do you think it changes this week? The Bengals losing Joe
It
Burrow
can.
haven't really missed a step, and we've been shown that our defense in the past hasn't been as good, and has gotten lit up by this offense, whether it be in the pass or in the run. The Bengals defense seems to be a little bit better than it has been in the past as well. What are some of the things that we're going to need to do this week that you think we need to do, but you think we can accomplish this week against the Bengals?
We need to score at least 17 points, and I think we can definitely accomplish that. That's a pretty low bar, so with Patrick at the quarterback, I think we can get there.
Whatever scheme, playbook style you want to call it that ends up with us playing some safe football, okay? So put our guys in positions to where it's a little bit easier to hang on to the football. And I think that's what Sean kind of alluded to earlier by like saying like simpler plays on offense. Whoever said that, was that Sean? That was Sean.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, uh, we want some clean football on offense. We want dirty football on defense where we're mucking it up for them. Um, so like let's focus on fundamentals. And part of the fundamentals of football is carrying it like it's an egg or a loaf of bread. Like you want to protect it. The some bitch ain't gonna get out of your hands. That guy across from you is not gonna take it from you. Treat it seriously. Act like this is your damn job because it is, and you get paid more than the average American to fucking do it.
Yeah, we have 26 total turnovers this season. We're one of the worst, if not the
Ugly,
worst. We've also got
dragging.
Ugly.
bottom three, if not the worst turnover differential. So even while our defense is playing well, we're still not helping out that turnover differential by taking the ball away. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't see that changing anytime soon. It will need to change if we're expecting to get anywhere with the rest of this season. Um, but yeah, I think it's time to get back to fundamentals. Hand over the reins of the offensive play calling. Let Pat work a little bit of his magic, throw in some play calls because we've seen that actually work when he's on the field. He sees what's happening. I think Matt Nagy just needs to step aside and let everybody else figure it out what it is they need to do. And he just kind of needs to no longer be a part of the organization. I think that would probably be the largest part of what could turn the rest of the season around. Who are we going to watch this week against the Bengals, given our horrid week last week?
I'm going to stay away from offense. I'm going to go defense. Shamari Connor. I like what I've seen from the young guy so far. He's getting his snaps in there, and I'm looking to see if he can take Brian Cook's spot. See if we got a battle going
Well,
into
with all
next year
the
for spring training.
injuries, like regardless of its safety or corner that we have on defense, his playing time's just going up anyways.
Oh yeah,
Well, yeah, but I'm going to see if he can continue this so we can challenge Brian Cook for his spot next year. I want that challenge going into training camp next year.
Yeah. Um, our guys toting the rock. LaMichael P. Ryan, Deneric Prince. Um, I think almost anybody can have success running behind the guys on our offensive line. So if they can get some solid yards per carry, I think that's what is inevitably going to drive this offense forward. It's not the stuff that we want to do, but it's the stuff we need to do. Tybo, Chiefs offensive coordinator 2024.
Halfback dive right, halfback dive left.
Jumbo. We're going back to Jumbo. Okay, we're signing a fullback.
That could be our problem. We don't have one on the roster this year for the first time. I'm going to go with the boys up front on the offensive line, 5 wide, all of them. They played horrific last week. Rookie Wanya Morris, I'd been talking him up. I thought he played well for a good portion there at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, he just started getting his ass whipped. Joe Tooney, you get paid one of the highest contracts out of any offensive lineman in the league. Freed, you're in a contract year. Trey, you're in a contract year. Juwan, you've been horrific all year. Like last week, it can't happen again. You've got to protect Pat. You've got to be able to get through the run, create running lanes, and not get stuffed by. I don't care how good the Raiders' defensive line is. You got to move people, and yeah, it's got to change very quickly. You can't just get nice $10,000-$15,000 presents from Patrick Mahomes and then let him get 8 up all game.
You can't disrespect the man like that. Come on.
You can't. He can't. He's out here giving you nice gifts, and you're just like, fuck you.
Do you think he threatened to take him away at some point during the
Oh,
game?
he should have. He definitely should have.
Well, Pat's body language during the game was also
Not good.
poor. Like Pat was there was the one point I lost it in the stands. Okay. Pat was under a little bit of duress. Like it wasn't I don't think he got hit after the throw or anything. Like so nobody was that close, but he had to move, okay? Like he had to do a lot on Monday. But it was a throw to Rashee Rice. I think Rashee started on the right side of the offense and did some kind of crossing pattern or post to bring him to the side that Pat was rolling out to. And he was running a certain way and he clearly kind of slowed down and Pat started to throw like back towards the middle of the field, so back towards the right a little bit. So meaning Rashee Rice would have had to stop and then like start going back the other direction, right? And it was A miscommunication, but B, it was a really bad throw. It was almost intercepted by the deep safety. Okay. And Pat was like, he stood there and was like pointing to Rashee, like, hey, I wanted like rollout drill. I wanted you to start running back that way. Like you were running towards 2 guys. I wanted you to run to the soft spot of the field. And even if Rashee Rice would have done that, the throw was so bad it would have been contested or if not picked because it almost did get picked where it was thrown how it was. But like to have the body language and just to like put your receiver on blast like that, like I feel like it's unfair to Rashee. It's a learning moment in the huddle a little bit. Like, hey, on that we got to kind of recognize like I need you to go back the other way because you're running into coverage or something like that. Like have a little like that's an awareness part. But like don't do that after the play because like it affected the whole team. And from that point, I really feel like everybody just looked more and more defeated, and call it the turning point or whatnot. But nothing was clicking. We looked sloppy, and the body language just infected every aspect of what we were doing out there, and it was not fun to watch.
Yeah, hopefully it turns around, or it's going to be a long 2 weeks before we get to the playoffs. If there is also still the possibility that mathematically that we could be out of the playoffs.
Shut
We just need to
up.
win one.
We need to win one. That's all. I'm just saying mathematically. I'm not giving my
We're
opinion
gonna
either
make
way.
the playoffs.
One
There's
win.
mathematically a way
No.
that we do not.
We're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Win one game.
We're
We
gonna
win
the Super
the
Bowl.
division.
Petty Pat's Revenge Tour 2023.
Doesn't start to the playoffs though.
Doesn't start to the playoffs.
Well, let's pick this game real quick. We do have the Bengals at home, and we are 7-point favorites.
Ty Bob's gonna
Uh,
pick up the cover. Don't worry. Ty Bob's gonna go with the Bengals. Don't worry. He's not a real Chiefs fan.
We
knows me
know
so
this.
well.
We don't even need to go with his pick. I don't know what
Uh,
order I'm going in, but
well, Sean won last week. So Sean, where are you going?
Give me two again. Give me two.
You want two? I'll go three. So Tybo,
Chiefs, baby.
obviously.
Chiefs all day.
All
That's
day,
easy pick.
every day.
Easy pick.
Yeah,
Super
Christmas
Bengals
Bowl
cover.
Christmas
champs.
t-shirt. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, Bengals cover.
This guy
Puss
sucks.
ass
I'm not
boy.
even confident that we
Puss
win.
ass boy.
This guy sucks.
Not even confident that we win.
You you said it, you gotta stick with it.
Oh, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. He's doubling down, Chiefs fans. He's not real.
He's not real.
That motherfucker is not real.
We're trying to kick him off his own show, but I don't know how to do that.